Great morning to you all. I hope you all woke up grateful for your day. And I hope that you've reminded yourself of all of the things that you have to be grateful for. And I hope you've set a high vibe. And, like I tell you guys every morning, hey, you're fueled by an infinite, unconditional love that loves you no matter what. All right? So I hope that you're working in true alignment with your truest nature. You're in the middle of the week. Set a high vibe. You're going to breeze through the rest. And I really hope that when you're seeing limits, you're getting creative. And when you're seeing obstacles, hey, they're opportunities. And I really hope, hey,
Hey,
great morning.
great
How
morning.
did you jump on right away like that?
I don't know. You sent the request and I accepted it. So
Oh, wow, that's great stuff. Normally I see like a red little
I,
thing here.
I know. That's what I was just like pausing and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay.
Hey, no, that's cool. Okay, so I'm just doing a little open like usual. Telling people, if they see setbacks, time to redirect. Guys, I hope you're not reacting to anything. I hope you're responding to stuff. And I hope you're taking the time to just pause and assess and, you know, set a high vibe. Wendell, you great this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. I got the day off today, so that's kind of good. And now I can figure out some stuff. There's a lot going. I had a lot going on this weekend, so just
I
gotta.
hear you. I hear you. I have a lot going on here too, but that's
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
because bring it on, head on, because that's how you got to deal with stuff, right?
That's right. That's right.
Put it this way, we can procrastinate with a lot of stuff, but not our own self-care,
Oh, that's true. That's so true.
you know?
Very true.
It was funny because I went to the gas station just now this morning and I just came back and it's funny because I was hearing stuff on the radio, obviously, and they were talking about red flag. One of the biggest red flags when you're getting into a relationship, and I was shocked because it's not something that I'd heard really, and it made me think. And it's so true. Can I drop it this morning?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they were talking about when you're assessing when you're getting into a relationship with somebody, how you can know if they're really ready for a serious long-term relationship is look how long it's been since they've been in one.
Mm.
So, in other words, if you're trying to embark on a serious relationship with somebody who has never been in a real serious relationship or has been away from a relationship for 20 years, there are reasons for it.
True. That's true. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
And it was weird because I didn't see it like that, but I was very enlightened this morning to hear that. I was like, whoa, oh, you know what? That's food for thought. And I'd really like to put that out there.
But it's funny because there's a lot of people that, like most of my friends are like that, and there's a lot of different reasons as to why, Yeah, it's a red flag in the sense that if you say, like when you're talking to somebody and you ask them, you're like, so when was the last time you had a relationship? And they say, oh, 25 years. And you're like, oh, wow. So how come you haven't had a relationship in such a long time? And they say, oh, well, I don't know. That would be a red flag. But if they were like, well, I've been busy with work and kids and I don't really have the time. And every time when I try to get engaged in a relationship, then things happen or things came up or that sort of thing, then it's a little bit different because life does happen, right? And we don't really have control over what goes on in life. We have to kind of adapt to it as it comes. So sometimes, so for example, because I mean, I get that too, and it's like, when people ask me, I'm like, well, it's been, a year and some, and they're like, oh, well, why has it been so long? And I'm like, well, because I've been waiting. I'm not gonna just jump into something with somebody, right? I'm gonna work on myself. Not to say that I'm damaged or anything, but when I say work on myself, I mean get my life back into order because and I think we've touched on this, it's like when you're used to not depending on somebody, but kind of co-living with somebody, like going through life with somebody where you're sharing stuff and you're doing stuff together and you're helping this person out, that person's helping you out. When you're by yourself, you're not getting that, right? So you have to adjust, and it's a transition period. So when you're in a relationship, you don't jump from relationship to relationship to relationship. You need that downtime in between to kind of, like I said, you assess it. You say, okay, what happened here? What could I have done better? Why didn't that work out? Oh, what were the signs that I could have seen that I didn't? And then you just kind of sharpen your skills, and then now you're like, okay, so now you're ready to proceed with the next one, right? And when I say the next one, I don't mean like the next one and you're looking for more, but I'm just saying like the next one that you get into.
You know what? I really notice all of the red flags and things that people should be looking out for and all of this stuff, but it's so hard for me to do that because I admire everybody's unique signature, and what applies to one would not apply to another. And what I find is that my energy doesn't change. It doesn't matter if I'm in front of family. It doesn't matter if I'm in front of colleagues. It doesn't matter who I'm in front of. I do not change. My energy stays the same. Whereas a lot of people, well, the majority of people, right, they want their family to see them a certain way, so they act a certain way in front of their family. And then they want their boss to see them a certain way, so they're going to act a certain way in front of their family or their boss. Then they want their partner to see them a certain way, so then they act a certain way in front of their partner. See all of the different masks that people are wearing? Me, I see past the mask, and I understand why they're wearing that mask. So I have to give everybody that chance, because relationships, like I've spoken before, don't always have to be romantic. Any relationship is two
True.
people. Like you and I, Wendell, we're in a relationship. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that it's romantic. It doesn't mean that there's any lust involved. But you and I are in a healthy relationship with interaction,
Right. Yeah.
right? And our energies, when we come out here, we don't change. You see, whereas a lot of people, they have a hard time because they want certain people to see them a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage everybody out there today, I address you all, you know what? See people for who they're showing you to be.
That's right.
Even if you see past the mask, if that's how the person wants to display themselves, accept them for that. Simple. But give everybody a chance.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Give everybody a chance.
Yeah. So, good morning, Scott, and thanks for joining us. I'm gonna address what he just said because it's very interesting.
Scott's out here. Hey, listen, that was one of my coworkers at when I was a night manager. And listen, Scott is amazing. He was my mechanic. He kept me afloat when I was doing my management position. This guy, hey, he knew when I needed a coffee. He knew when I needed a cigarette. He knew when I needed to take a pause and go eat. And he always had my back. Hey, Scott, I love you lots, man. Have a great day.
So, yeah, so you're saying because no one wants to be real, the dating game is a giant riddle. So,
Yes, very true.
so the thing is that it's not really a sense that it's a riddle. It's just more that people, because they've been so tired and damaged or whatever, they make it harder than it actually is, right? And you know, when people are when people realize that there's something wrong with them, rather than going and getting it fixed, they're gonna mask it so that they're gonna go now and say, "Oh well, yeah, okay, I have this issue, but I need to be with somebody. So I'm gonna be with somebody and I'm gonna mask this issue so that they don't see it, you know." But what people don't realize is that it always, always, always comes to surface. And when it comes to surface, it's always at the worst time. You know what I mean? Like, you could be in this relationship and you're like, oh, everything's gravy and beautiful, and you're like, oh, this is the person of my dreams, and oh, I'm gonna get married to this person, and then boom, it comes up. Now you're pissed off at yourself because you didn't see it, and you're pissed off at the person, and then it just becomes this big, turbulent, messy fiasco, and then I think this is the main reason why a lot of relationships end on a rocky note because of that that fallacy or that that mask that just comes off, right? Because when you feel like you've been deceived or that you've been lied to, especially in a relationship,
Oh, yeah.
that damage, like people don't really understand what that damage does because they just think, oh, they'll get over it, right? Oh, it's just a little thing. They
But
won't
it's
react.
not. It scars you,
Well, it scars you for life. Like I
especially
see,
when the other person doesn't try to correct it.
yeah, or not even correct it because they really can't correct you, right?
No, but this is what I mean by that. Let's say somebody inflicts something on you that makes you not feel so good, and you bring it to their awareness, and they realize what they've done. Well, then it's their time to correct that and rewrite that script with you, right? There's three parts to an apology or a, right? First one is saying, I'm sorry, the person
Uh-huh.
accepting it, and then that person that's apologizing saying, how can I make this right?
Yep.
So that's what I mean about the correction part, because we all make mistakes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, we all make mistakes, but
Yeah.
it is about correcting our mistakes and rewriting the wrongs,
Right.
but also embracing who we are. Like, as you know, that's why I encourage everybody, don't wear masks. Be who you are across the board. But I guess that's why dating is so important, right?
Well, yes and no, because again, um, I find that a lot of people date for the wrong reasons. Okay. So some people date because, they're lonely. Some people date because they need that, what's the word I'm looking for? They need somebody to assure them that, they're who they think they are, if that makes any sense, right?
Yes, validation.
Validation. Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Hey, Scott, I see you want to join us. Do you want to come on live? Let me know, because I see here a red thing that you want to join us live. If you do, I will bring you on. Just let me know. Type that yes, you want to come on the live, and I'll bring you on. Sorry,
Yes.
Wendell, go ahead with what you were
Oh,
saying.
that's fine. That's fine. No, but I was just saying, that yeah, like we we not we personally, but as human beings, sometimes we need validation, right? We need somebody to tell us that, yeah, you're doing good. Yes, you are attractive. Yes, you're a good person. Yes, you're caring. Yes, you're doing the right thing. All that kind of stuff. So this way, the more you hear it, you kind of, for some people, they need that in order to be confident, right? Because I've been
Yep.
in relationships where I'm saying it and I'm telling them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, okay, wow, okay," and then a year down the road, then they're like, "Oh, I don't feel attractive," or "Oh, I don't feel this is gonna work out," and I'm like, "Okay, but for a year, I've been giving you the energy and the power that you need to be positive or to change this, and you told me that, yeah, you're feeling better and all that stuff, so why all of a sudden now?" So i came to the I came to the conclusion that what really happened was that they were lying to themselves as well as lying to me, right?
Exactly. It has to do more with what we're actually telling ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, morning, Trish. I'm happy to see you out here, girl. Have a great day. Look, honey, my mouth is moving. It's not, hey, I got my feeling back because I believed it would happen. I just want to show you that. Look at that shit. Ha ha ha. I still got it, girl. Boom, boom.
That's hilarious.
No,
Morning,
but
Trish.
seriously, Wendell, you don't see how my mouth is moving perfectly almost
No,
this morning.
no, that's why I'm laughing because I noticed it at the beginning and I was just like, I said, I
Yeah.
thought slept
Toby's
well
been
or something.
healing.
Yeah, but yeah. back
Toby
to her
has been healing.
back to her devilish self, right?
No, actually, it's tapping into the unconditional love that fuels me,
Okay.
and stay in alignment with that and try to be unconditionally loving to myself and not believe the lies that I'm being fed by doctors, because my body knows what it has to do to heal.
Good.
That's what I did.
Good. Good stuff.
But
Good on you.
look at that shit.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I got my smile back. So I will be wearing it proudly.
Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. So yeah, so I just find that it's when people like try to deceive other people by hiding behind this, fake
Facade.
of themselves, right? I don't know, it's just I find that there needs to be some kind of not therapy and what am I
Put your glasses on and stop squinting, though. You're damn right. You're damn right, girl. Oh, yes, that's right. Call me out on my madness. There we go. I can see. Woo! Yes, Trish. Needed that this morning.
that's funny.
Oh, I love her. I love her. But you know what? She always tells me the things I need to hear. And
Yeah,
that's we all need the friend who is going to be
we all need
fucking
one.
real with us.
We
Okay?
all
Because
we
if your friend can't be real with you and tell you the things that you do not want to hear, well, then it's not your friend.
right.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I hit the wrong button trying to find comments. I so agree. Past bad relationships leave scars. We learn from our mistakes and watch the red flags now. I missed that smile. Oh, there we go. Knocked it over. Yes, I do see. I missed that smile. Well, you know what, Scott? I miss you. All of you. I miss the hugs. Okay? Because you gave me great hugs.
That's funny.
And Trish, too. I miss your hugs, too, girl. Seriously. Those are some real hearty hugs.
But it's funny. It's like now we're talking about hugs, and it's like, and this is the beauty of the human body, right? That transference of energy, whether
Yes.
it be, like they're seeing now, they see the smile in you, they see the glow in you, when you meet somebody and you give them that hug and you're like, okay, like this is a this is a genuine hug, like you can actually feel the person through it. Like that's some powerful stuff, right? You know,
I have a
like
pretty effective hug, I'm told.
yeah, I don't do
Because
the hand stuff anymore,
you know what? I believe everybody needs to be hugged. And you know what? I need to be hugged just as much. So whenever I have the opportunity to embrace somebody in a warm and healthy way, you're damn right I'm going to do it. I don't, that's just,
There was something that I was reading and I can't remember what it was. And I think I was researching stuff for when I was doing that man versus woman thing. And they had this thing where they were showing, I think it's koala bears or just regular bears. I can't remember exactly what, but apparently these animals, when they like the way that we cuddle, like it's almost it's so intimate to a level that it's almost considered like intercourse with bears. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that to say that just the power of hugging, right? It's incredible.
yeah, it's actually, it can be more intimate than sex.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
What?
That's
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I had to put it out there in a way that maybe other people could catch, like, yeah. And it's very important. And like I mentioned before, if a baby is born and not shown affection, it will wither away. Its will to live will stop. So we all need that. But you know what? Back to what we were saying about the dating. This
yeah,
is why dating is so important in different dynamics. You can't just date somebody, in other words, oh, they come and chill at your house all the time. No.
right.
Dating has to be you get out and you put yourselves together in different dynamics and situations because
Absolutely.
that's how you get to know each other.
That's right.
So you got to, yes, interact with that person and their family to see really that dynamic. You
Yep, you're
have
right.
to see them in a different setting. You have to see them with their friends. You have to see them with in all different aspects before you can clearly see or claim that you think you know this person.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
And then we change every day on top of it. So what you think one day of somebody, well, the next day you could meet that exact same person who you have no idea what they've lived that day, and it has changed their whole perception. So dating is really intense.
It is. It is. And when people say, and this is what and it's funny because this was the thing that I hated the most about dating was, you put yourself out there on a dating site, right? And then you explain everything, it's like, this is who I am. This is what I like to do. I'm looking for somebody to do this with. And if you're one of these people, then send me a message or whatever, and let's get to know each other, right? So you get this person now. They read your thing. Oh yeah, I read your profile. Blah 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 blah. Let's get to know each other. And you're like, okay. So now you start to get to know each other, and then you notice that it's like, oh, so it goes from so how many siblings do you have, right? Then it goes to, so what do you do for work? Then it goes to, so what's your favorite position? And it's like, what? Can we continue, like, can we continue talking about other things first, but and that's what it is. It just ends up that people like to test people, right? So when it gets to that point, normally I'm just like, I don't want to talk about that right off the hop, because if that's all you want, you know what I mean? Like, you can swipe left, whatever it is you're doing. I don't want to hear about that stuff right now. And what people don't realize is that some guys, not all guys, but some guys actually want to get to know a little bit more about you before they get to that point, right?
Well, yeah, because they want to know if they're sticking their dick in dirt. Sorry, that's why I had to cross. I had to slant the glasses for that one.
No wonder she gets blocked. No wonder she gets shut down.
Sorry, but hey, jokes
Uh,
this morning. It's the middle of the week and it's hump day. So,
yeah, well, I ain't humping, so uh,
oh shit.
that's funny. But yeah, so like, a lot of guys, they and I mean, women do it too. Like, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's all about the guys and stuff," but a lot of women do it too. They'll say what they want to say to get you to that certain point. And then it's like, "Oh, why don't we meet? I'm feeling a connection to you. Let's go for coffee." And then you're like, "Okay." So then you go for coffee. You're sitting there and you're talking, and you notice that she's not even like listening to a word she's saying. All she keeps saying is, "Wow, you're so handsome. Wow, you're such a good-looking guy. Wow, you look so much better in person." And I'm just like, "Hey, can we talk about something else?" And they're like, "Yeah, actually, we could. How about this? Why don't you come to my house, and I'll make you lunch, and then we could talk some more." And I'm like, "Really? Like, this is your slick way of bringing me to your house, like, And I'm just like, "No, like, I don't go to people's houses just like that, you know." So anyway, so they have this mentality of just trying to, maneuver to get you to the house. Then you get to the house, and then you see their you see they're like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't get to clean up because I wasn't expecting anybody." And then all of a sudden you see this like turbulence, like, you just feel that energy of, "Oh my God, what is this woman into?" And then next thing you know, you're sitting on the couch watching TV, and she comes over and she just sits down, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Like, this is awkward. I think it's time that I leave." "Oh, no, 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 don't leave. Just stay." I'm like, "Okay, but like, we just met, and I don't want to, And then she's like, "Oh, just stay." And you're like, next thing you know, it's like freaking 9 o'clock at night. "Oh, it's too late. I'm going to bed. But if you want, I'm like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, look what Scott put up there. Red flags, red flags.
Exactly.
I love it.
Scott knows the deal. Scott, respect. You know the deal.
Big time. But that's
Yeah,
it. But also too, that person, when they're doing that, they want you to see a certain side of them.
exactly.
And you know what? When somebody can't openly discuss, like, all the talk was about how your looks, your looks, your looks. Well, that wasn't very intellectually stimulating.
Right.
So that tells you what type of mind frame they're in.
Right. But I've also had the opposite where I sit down and we talk about life and love and I tell them a little bit about what I'm about with the life coaching and stuff. Wow, that's very interesting. You seem very intelligent. You seem very wise. And da, 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 da. I like talking to you. I feel so openly. I'm able to talk to you. I'm like, yeah, okay. So let's continue talking. He's like, oh, well, why don't you come over to the house? I'm like, okay. So I go over to the house. We're sitting down. We're talking. And then all of a sudden, it's like a lightning strike, like, and we start talking about something, and then it just starts getting a little bit too intense. And oh, my mother died because she overdosed on heroin, and then it's like, oh my god, right? And then you're like, oh my god, and it just, you know, person's crying, like bawling her eyes out in front of me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, you need to go, you just need to go. I'm like, wow, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, well, it was nice meeting you, and I hope you get over whatever it is you're getting over. I leave. Then I get a text 10 minutes after I get back to my house, and it's like, I don't think this is going to work out. I'm realizing that maybe I'm not ready for a relationship. Right? And I'm just like, so why are you out there? And this is what it is. People think
Okay.
that, go ahead.
I hear a lot of, well, then when you go over there, so what, do you have a gas expense for these bad dates?
No, I'm talking about before. I'm not talking about
Okay,
now.
good.
Yeah,
Good,
I'm
because
talking
these
about
girls
before.
better step up. You know what? Send their applications my way, and then I'll clear them and send them your way.
But I'll tell you this, sometimes, like, and I don't know if a lot of people on here can relate to this, but sometimes it ends really bad. Like when I say really bad, like I mean like I remember this one chick, she just kept texting me and 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 just saying like, oh, she couldn't accept the fact that I knew she had some kind of an issue that I couldn't deal with, right? Not that I couldn't deal with, but that, I couldn't really accept because of the fact of,
It was a
you know,
deal breaker for you.
it was a deal breaker for me, and also it was also for her. It was more like, I was telling her, like, this is not a big. You're so conscious about this issue. Like, I don't know you that well, but I know you well enough to know that you can handle this. Like, this is something that you can handle. Why are you pushing it so far that you're making it more of what it actually is what I was trying to tell her, and she didn't like it. She
Big
did
head,
not.
you're not doing this morning. Stop. You'll get a treat after. Go and lie down. You're not doing this again today. I love you, but go and lie down. Sorry, my dog is bothering me.
Okay.
She did
So,
that yesterday too. She wanted to come on the live.
oh wow. She's like, I want to see what it is you keep doing every morning there. What is that?
Well, she's pretty used to it now.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. She's so
Now
used
she
to it.
just wants to hop on with us, though. She's like, "Who is this man? Who's this guy that I hear you talking to, mommy?"
Oh my gosh. That
Can
is
I
funny.
get a sniff? What does he smell like?
Yeah.
Maybe if we had the scent of a dog and we could sniff everybody down and check them out that way, it would help us.
A bad idea. Show up at a date with a dog and everybody's like, yo, what is that? Oh, this is my sniffing dog. Excuse me? Like, why is this? I want to check you out, make sure you're proper before we continue this date. I like that
Well,
idea.
I'll tell you, my dog doesn't lie to me when it comes to assessing somebody. If
Yeah.
my dog doesn't like you, I have many reasons not to also, but I don't dislike anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly.
I, we may not jive, but
Yeah.
I don't dislike anybody because I appreciate everybody's uniqueness and their unique signature, and they're needed just as much as I am. So we don't have to agree. We don't have to see eye to eye, but I don't wish you any harm and I don't wish you any malice, and that's not me, you know? So doesn't matter what it is. That's up to me whether I want to hold that in my heart, and that shit's like poison.
Oh, yeah.
If I
It'll
held
go.
that stuff in my heart, this wouldn't be happening today
There you
or
go.
yesterday. Look at
Mhm.
that. Today
Exactly.
it's full. Yesterday it was full almost, but there was a little lean. But hey, you see the difference, eh, Wendell?
Yeah, I do. I do. 100.
And guess what? The doctors told me I would never get the feeling back in my face. And I said, oh, yeah, watch me go. And that's
Hmm.
what I did.
But
And
it's
yeah,
funny.
that's why it's been hard for me over the past couple of weeks and the past month because fuck, this is what that's why I never finished my certification yet. I was focusing on my face, which was a little more important than a certification. I love that. My dog don't like you. I don't either. That's right.
Yeah, that's funny. So funny.
No, because they know.
Oh yeah.
They know. They see right through all the masks that everybody likes to wear, They know.
It's so funny because I was never really a dog person, but when I look back at some of the women I've dated, I'm like, damn, I wish I had a dog then. Because I could have just seen them, when I bring them to the house and hear them going, grrr, I'm like, yeah, okay. It would have been nice to have that little, insight before you go and put yourself in a situation where you kind of give yourself up, so to speak, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's not gonna work out. Okay,
Well,
well, I
actually,
don't.
I did a cleanup like that, because anybody that made my dog feel a certain way that I could see, I made sure I stayed far away from them,
Yeah. Hmm.
even if I couldn't see it. Or, you know what I mean? My dog knows.
Wow.
So maybe you need to get a dog, Wendell.
And it's funny. I'm gonna tell you a little story quick, because I've always grew up with cats, right? Like since I was a little kid, I always grew up with cats. I'll go to a door and I'll see a cat, meow meow meow, and I'll be like, come here. And then they look at me and they'll slowly come to me. They'll smell my hand. They'll smell my hand. And they'll start rubbing their head in my hand. And everybody who has a cat that I meet first time, they're always like, how do you do that? How did you do that? This cat never goes to anybody else. I'm like, I grew up with cats. I know exactly how to get to them. You scratch them on the neck and that's it. You're sold. You do it the right way, you're sold, right? So anyway, so um, one of my friends had a dog, and the dog was kind of like not skittish, but he just kind of came, sniffed me a couple times, and then moved away. And I guess it was maybe he was smelling the cat on me. I don't know, but he was just kept coming to me, going, coming and going. And then I was with one of my friends. He had a dog, and he had to go somewhere. He's like, "Well, no, I need you to dog sit for me." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, okay." So he brings this dog over, and I'm like, "What the hell is that? Big muscular dog?" And I'm like, he's like, "Oh, it's a red-nosed pit bull." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Why does it look like a devil?" I said, "Why does it look like it's gonna freaking eat me?" I'm like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Oh no, 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 it's good. She's good. She's an old dog. Just walk her and just show her love, and she'll be good. Like, just don't like hit her or anything." So I'm like, okay. So I had this dog for about a week. 2 days in, I, if I remember correctly, I can't remember if I overslept and I forgot to walk the dog, or I just forgot to walk it and walk her entirely. I came back home. I had like a one flat basement with like couches and all that stuff. The whole place was ransacked. Table, couch, like ripped stuffing all over the place, piss on the floor, shit on the floor. I came home and I was like, oh my God. She looked at me and booted right to the room because she knew she was right.
Well, actually, you know why a dog does that? Because if you had not walked her, when a dog feels insulted or feels like, and then they have to resort to pissing or shitting in the house, it gets them very upset because dogs are so clean that they don't want to piss or shit in your house. So
Oh,
they know what they've done and they know why they've had to do that. So they fucking destroy the house after because they're mad. And I get it.
okay.
I get it. You know what
Okay.
so it's
Makes Yeah, makes sense.
especially pit bulls because they're so fucking smart.
Yeah.
They're so smart. These red-nosed pits, they originally were farm dogs and they were called babysitter dogs pretty much because you could leave your kids outside with a pit bull and your kids were safe and they weren't going anywhere.
Okay.
And the dog would keep the kids herded like sheep. Like
Wow. Okay. Hmm.
they're really, really intelligent dogs. These are the types of dogs that were used in the war to send messages. to
Hmm.
soldiers and stuff. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So people think pit bulls are all vicious and stuff, but they're not. But they do get upset because the way that they think is different.
Yeah. So yeah,
But
so that was my
what an
dog.
experience. What a
Yes,
fucking experience. You must have said, oh, I'll never own a dog.
exactly what I said. That's exact. Like I would rather freaking empty litter, than to freaking have to clean up shit, fix furniture, have to buy, right? But that was just me. Like I was young at the time, and that was the first dog I had, so I obviously thought all dogs are like that, right? But then I dated a couple women that had dogs, and I seen that they were different, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then they're like, my dog likes you, and I'm just like, you know what? I said all animals seem to like me, like cats, dogs, they all seem to like me, you know. Like my cousin, I posted that picture of his pug there. Oh my god. So anyway, so I get to the house, and he's like, "Rrr," like constantly growling at me, right?
Love you, Toby. Signing out for tonight. We need to meet up soon. Have a great day. Love your posts. See more. Love your posts. Wendell, you're awesome. Keep at it.
Oh,
Scott,
thank you.
have a great day. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the interaction. I really appreciate you. And have a great day. And yes, we will meet up. Trust me, we will. When the time is right, we will. All right? Love you, man. Have a great day. Sorry,
Great
Wendell.
day.
We'll go back to you.
No, 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 that's fine. That's fine. So like, what was I saying now? So I've always like, uh, I kind of went more towards cats than dogs per se. But again, like I said, when I um when I was dating people, and they're like, "Are you afraid of dogs?" I'm like, "No, it depends on what kind of dog it is." I have to ask, "No, what kind of dog?" I don't know. So then I go and I see the dog now, and the dog would come sniff me, kind of thing, and I'm like, then I will walk away. Then I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like trying to interact with this person, I'm trying to get to know a little bit about her. I'm asking questions, and then the dog jumps on the freaking couch, starts licking me and stuff, and I'm like, whoa, 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 and then they're like, so and so down, leave Wendell alone, like leave him be. So I like cats and dogs, and I don't think that experience with the pit bull made me hesitant towards having a dog, but you know there's also the downfalls to it too, right? Because like my brother, he had a dog for a long time, and the dog got sick, and then it got expensive, and then he had to put it down, and I seen what it did to my brother. Like he was really traumatized by his the first dog he had. Like he had to put her down, and she was like beautiful dog, beautiful dog. She was black. She was a black lab, I think. Her name was Lexi. Beautiful dog, smart. Oh man, like I could see why my brother took it really hard when she passed, because every time when I go there, she'd always come up to me, and my brother would be like, Lexi, leave him alone, leave him alone. And she'd always come give me kisses and stuff. And I'm like, sit. I'm like, sit. And she'd just sit down and then just put her head like right on my lap, and then just kind of give me that look like just pet me kind of thing. So anyway, so I get it. I get it. It's just the thing with pets, and people don't really realize this, is that when you're choosing a pet, the pet has to reflect you, right? Like there has to be that connection. You know, a lot of people, my friends, they're like, oh, they pick up strays, and the strays are like they're just like wild all over the place, and I'm like, why are you still bringing in more pets when you don't have the ones that you have already under control? Like your house could be like, you know. So anyway, that's a different story. So some of my friends have like multiple pets, and they're dealing with this turbulence in their house. Oh, the dog did this. Oh, the cat did that. I'm like, okay, but why didn't you just, you know? Anyway, I guess because I'm not in it, I don't understand it. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. But at the same token, I'm trying to think of it on a logical level where, okay, so if I have a cat and I'm gonna bring a dog into the house, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make it, you know, convenient for both of them. Like, why should the cat be stressed out living in the house, wondering if the dog's gonna freaking attack it, or vice versa, right? I don't know. That's just the way that I think. I could be wrong.
I hear you. I hear you. With my two dogs here, any kind of dog could walk in here and they would be okay, but I wouldn't bring a cat in here. No way. No way. I wouldn't do that to my dogs, and I wouldn't do that to the cat.
Yeah.
because I have very big, my dogs are big. Well, I don't think my dogs are big because they're my dogs, but everybody else seems to think I've got big dogs. You know, like, but hey, like I've had bigger dogs than this.
Yeah, as
So
long as they're
what?
talking, as long as they're talking about your dogs and not your puppies, you know.
No puppies. No puppies. The dogs are fixed. No puppies. So what do you have planned for your day off?
Well, they haven't called me into work, which is kind of good, but I think they might. I don't know if they're gonna call me like randomly, but so if they don't, then I'm just gonna like right now I have to figure out this thing with this caddy because I'm really starting to think that it's time to I don't know. I think it's time maybe that I have to get rid of it or something because ever since I've gotten this car, it's just been like issue after issue after issue, you know. And
Well,
yeah,
is that
just
what you're rolling around in right now?
no, I have a Jetta that I use to get to work and that kind of stuff. The caddy was just a leisure thing. Like I just kind of bought it because you know I was in this car club with this guy and he kind
Mm.
of like I don't want to say he pressured me into it, but for the most part he did. You know, because I wasn't really ready to do all this stuff. He's like, oh, it's just run and drive. It's ready to go. So I went and bought this car, and then all of a sudden now it's not ready to go. I mean, it still drives and everything, but you know, there's a hole in the roof. Then I have to sand it and paint it, and the interior is a little, you know, I have to do a shampooing, and then I gotta do a maintenance, and it's like it's just a money pit for me, and like I don't know why this guy thought I had all this money. Like he must think like I'm a millionaire or something because I was under the impression that I would just pay for this car and then I'd just be able to drive it, and
Hmm.
then piece by piece, you know, I do like little things here and there, you know, like get the tires and then get rims and then get it painted and then get it maintenance and then by summertime I'd be ready to roll. That was my plan, right? But this guy he's like all about you need to get this now, you need to do this now, you need. And I'm like, buddy, you know, like I don't have you need money right now. And then he's all like, so why did you get the caddy? And I'm just like, whatever. So anyway, so I'm just like I'm pondering whether to either keep it or not. And then the thing is that I bought it for $4,000, right? And that was like all my tax money. Like I got a good return on my tax money, so I was just like, okay, you know, I'm gonna treat myself. So I was expecting to just pay like, you know, 2 grand or whatever. So he's telling me that it was 4 grand. So I paid him half and then gave him the other half. Then um when I started having these issues, then he came to me and he was like, "Oh well, I'll buy it back from you for $1,000." So that raised red flags for me because I was just like, "Okay, so hold on. You sold me this car for 4 grand, and now you're telling me that you're gonna buy it back for me for $1,000?" I'm like, "No, bro, that's not gonna happen." I'm like, "That's not gonna happen." So then after I was just like, so then I started thinking, and I'm like, why would he do something like that? You know what I mean? So, so now I'm questioning his integrity with regards to the car now, right?
Oh, listen, he showed you that clearly.
Exactly. So
With
I'm
no
just like,
question about that. I'm sorry.
what?
Anybody who deals with you like that, well, like, sorry, Wendell,
Yeah,
you
question.
better address that shit.
Oh, and I have actually a couple times, but it's just like, right? So I don't know if it's an American thing because like, you know, he's American or whatever, but you know, I'm just like, I'm at this point where it's just like, you know what? It's like, why am I gonna stifle myself, you know, and the thing that got me the most too was because he knows my situation. Like we hang out all the time. Like he knows my situation. So if you know my situation, you know, why why would you? And he calls me his friend. Why would you do that? You know, like why would you dig me in a hole, knowing that I'm already, you know, I'm like seeing the top of the hole and I'm just about to go like this, and then you're like, here, let me help you. You know.
See, but that's the thing. He was so focused on getting himself out of his own hole that it didn't matter what hole it put you in. And that's what people do.
Yep.
They
You're right.
worry so much about themselves. That's why I encourage everybody to watch the intentions that people have for you and not the words,
You're
because
right.
they're going to tell you anything you need to hear to get whatever they want from you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they're also
And
going to
that's
do.
what it sounds like in this situation. Like he smooth talked into getting his $4,000 that he needed for that car.
That's right. That's exactly what I think it is too.
And then he's been in your ears about fixing it up, hoping that you'll dump all the money that he wanted to into it
Hmm.
to put you financially in a situation so he could buy it back for what, a fourth of what you actually paid for it, plus all what you've had to do.
Yep.
Oh
And
yeah, this, listen, you see, there's a
oh, I
plan in
see it.
play there.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it. And the thing too now is that now, because I don't know who it was, but somebody said that they saw the car on the street and it was like abandoned. So it ended up getting towed. So when I called him to tell him, he's like he's like, so what are you gonna do? And I'm like, what do you mean? What am I gonna do? And he's like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna get it back? And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously I'm gonna get it back, but it's gonna cost me money, and it's money that I don't have right now. So then after he was like, oh well, call this guy, and he'll help you. Like he could probably tow it for you. So I said, okay. So I'm calling this guy, and I'm thinking, okay, so this guy is a friend of this other guy who knows my situation, or at least I thought he knew my situation, and he's trying to like get this car out of the impound, and I message him. I'm like, so like, what's the rate? So he tells me it's $150. So I'm like, okay. So then after I call the impound, I'm like, so how much do I have to get this car out? So they're like, oh, it's about $170, and then $40 every day extra. So I'm like, okay. He said after 30 days, they take the car and they auction it off. So I'm like, okay. So he said, just come with your bill of sale, and then whatever days you have it there for, pay for that plus the 174. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so then so I'm getting all this, and I'm like trying to figure stuff out. And he's already like up my ass, like, so did you get the car? I'm like, no, dude. Like I still have to get the bill of sale, because I bought it from him, right? So I'm like, I need the bill of sale. And then he's like, oh well, you could have came and got that yesterday, but you were tired. And I said, no. I said, first of all, I said, I told you I went to Edmonton because my aunt I had an issue with my aunt. I was dealing with my aunt. Family first. Sorry, dude. Straight up. I don't need to get into details about it. I don't need to get all dramatic about it. It's just straight facts. And if you can't
Yep.
understand that, that's not my issue. Straight up. Right? So I just told him, I'm dealing with my aunt. So end the story. So then I told him, I said, this was yesterday. Then again, so did you get the car? I'm like, dude, I already told you, like, I need to get the bill of sale, and tomorrow I'm off, so I'm gonna figure it out tomorrow. So then he gives me this thumbs up. So I'm like, I'm just like,
Yeah, but why can't he take a picture of it and send it to you?
no, but the point is, this let's go a step further. So you sell me this car overpriced, mind you. Then you insult me by asking for a fourth of it back. I tell you my situation. Your inclination as a friend would be, okay, I'm gonna call my boy who has a tow truck, and he's gonna come and help you tow the car out. Don't worry about the money or whatever. That's what that's how friends do shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with him, it's like, oh, just call the guy, and So I call the guy, and then he's telling me, oh well, I have to do this today and I have to do that tomorrow, so maybe the day after. And I'm just like, okay. I said, but bear in mind, I said the place closes at 8, the impound closes at 8. I finish work at 5, so I don't want to be like, after a day of work, I don't want to be running around all night to get this car and then get it towed and then whatever, right? And so he's like, well, where are you gonna put it? So I asked the same guy. I'm like, yo, I said, so can I store it at your house? What's your rate? So he's like, oh, just give me like $20 a month or whatever. I'm not really out for money. I'm like, okay, well that's cool. Yeah, I can probably swing that. But okay, so let me figure out the towing or whatever. Then he comes back at me again. So did you call the boy? I said, yeah, I called him. And he's like, so what's going on? And I'm like, well, what's going on is I'm trying to arrange it now and figure out how to pay this guy. So he's like, dude, he goes, you work in oil and gas and you don't have money? I'm like, wait a minute. Who said I don't have money? A. And B, why are you assuming? Because that's all this guy really does, right? Just assume. So I'm just like, you know what? I said, I'm not even having this conversation with you. I said, I'm gonna deal with this my own way because you know what? It's my car. I'm the one that spent 4 grand for this freaking thing, and I'm gonna deal with it my way. So let me deal with it, and whatever. If I need you to help me with something, I'll get back to you. Then he's like, oh wow, like really, you're gonna do me like that? I'm like, anyway. So that's the
So today you're going to deal with that car thing? Is that what you're saying?
yes. So today I'm gonna deal with that card.
You know what? I highly suggest that you analyze whether
Mm-hmm.
you get your bill of sale and close that, put some closure to that. Because if you want to sell your ride, don't go looking back where you bought it.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know.
Because that person had bad intentions for you from the jump, and you can see it how it's played out for you. And I don't see him having any good intentions so far because, hey, people tell you who they are by their actions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you
Absolutely.
know what's funny is communication. They say, oh, words, 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 words are only fucking what, 37% of communication, not even, or 17% of communication, and everything else is physical and actions. And hey, huh. So not only did he show you, he's telling you too. But that's okay because it's for learning, because now you'll never be in a situation like this again.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I told my boy last night. You know, me and my boy were talking last night. You probably know him actually. Mark. Mark. I don't know if you know Mark.
I know a
Actually.
couple of marks.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, we won't call people out, but I know a
yeah.
couple of marks.
Yeah. We don't do that from LaSalle. You know what I mean? We respect our peeps like that. You know. But we had a good talk last night, and he was telling me the same thing. He's just like, yo, he said, you know, how is it that this guy he said you have to pay 5 grand now for the paint, and if you really want it done proper, and then you got to do the wheels, and you got to do the maintenance. He's like, this is a money pit for you, bro. He goes, right now you're making good money, and you need to take care of your kids. Like, drop this. And I was like, wow, okay. And then I thought about it, and I thought about it all night actually, and I said, you know what? This was already confirmed with me, but I just wanted to not convince myself, but I wanted to believe otherwise, right? I wanted to believe that, oh, okay, something's gonna happen where, not like I'm gonna win a lottery or something, but something's gonna happen where, I'll be able to see that I can actually keep this vehicle. But it's been just the opposite, the opposite, the opposite, the opposite. So
You know what, guys? I'm going to address everybody out there today. Look, see people for who they are showing you that they are. Don't make excuses for them. Don't sit there and say, well, okay, and whatever, whatever, whatever. No. See it for what they're presenting it to be. Don't make excuses for them, and find all the reasons why it's unacceptable to handle that shit, because you shouldn't have to. All right? Putting yourself first. Remember that.
yeah.
Wendell, I had to shout out to everybody because, hey,
No.
and you know what? It's the same for me. Every day, I have a very difficult time with many, many interactions only because of the fact that I see through what people are showing me. And I sometimes have a hard time listening to what it is that person is showing me and leaving it alone and saying, hey, that's not my journey. Let it be until it's ready. And I have a very hard time with that. I really do.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because I'm one that wants to infuse change. I don't want people to feel like that or be acting like that or inflicting any of that shit on anybody,
Absolutely not.
because that's not cool.
Nope.
And the way you sit feeling with that is really not cool, because that creates turmoil and chaos where there shouldn't be in your life. And that's inflicted and allowed by somebody else. This is not you creating this for yourself.
Right.
So this is why, everybody out there, I'm going to address you. Look, even in this situation, I have the same situation happen to me. We're living this situation. We try to create and believe what we'd like to believe out of this situation instead of clearly looking at it for what it is. We make excuses for people. We make excuses for why things are happening. Listen, don't accept anything in your life that you are not creating for yourself. Seriously. I have a hard time with that too, because all kinds of stuff comes at me from every different direction. But I also have to determine and say, hey, is this mine or is this somebody else's? And because my reality is mine and my experience is mine, I don't have to deal with anything that anybody else is creating for me.
Right.
That's on them. Okay. So I encourage you all today to take a look at this kind of stuff, because it matters in every aspect of life. The same situation that Wendell's talking about, you could apply it to every single thing in your life. So understand that, people. And that's why we can talk so openly about everything, because you're going to take things from our conversations that are going to fuel change in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Very well said. Very well said.
Thank you.
And that's what it's about, and like for years, and this is why a lot of people thought like, oh, maybe Wendell will be a counselor or something, because I'm always sharing my experiences. And when I talk to people, I remember my brother at the beginning, like many years ago, my brother, my mom, and then a couple of my friends were like, why are you like sharing your personal information on social media? And I'm just like, I'm not sharing my personal information on social media. What I'm sharing is that hope or that optimism for people to see that if I can do it, you can do it. That's all it is. You know what I mean? And that's where this whole thing actually started, right? I just started talking about certain things and people were like, "Wow, like you're so open about your own issues, like, and that's what it is. It's like we're as human beings, we're supposed to own what we own, right?
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like if I have an issue, people are like, oh well, why are you always picking dirty girls to date? And I'm like, well, if that's my issue, then I'm gonna own it. So then I assess it and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, for some strange reason, it seems like I have been dating a lot of these evil-minded or dirty-minded women. So how do I change that? I change it by the way of how I perceive people or how I approach people or take what they're saying from me and instead of just taking it and running with it, investigating it now is like, okay, so why is this here? Why did you send me this? Like, well, what is this, right? And it works. It works, So always question what's in front of you. Like people think, oh well, I don't want to ask too many questions. No, you got to ask as many questions as possible if you really want to make sure what it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And the ones who can answer that question honestly are the ones that you're gonna be like, okay, I can deal with you. The ones who are like, oh, I don't want to answer that question. There's a reason. So you know what? And that's it. It's that simple. I mean, it's not simple, but it's that simple. If that makes any sense.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I think it's absolutely amazing that, listen, you had one hell of a roller coaster ride this weekend, which was very traumatic. You came out here and you not only kept it together, but you were able to discuss it openly to teach others. Okay, yesterday you couldn't come out, you went to work early.
Yeah.
Today you're back out here again. But you know what I see? I see a very strong man who is very aware of everything in his life that's happening, okay? And who can still come out here and make a very positive difference in the world
Thank you.
by sharing. And if you're not crumbling from all the weight that you're carrying on your shoulders right now, Wendell, well, guess what? People better start taking a look at how you're doing it.
Thank you. I'm trying to show people. I really am.
But this is it. So don't let anybody, like,
Hmm.
look, you know what? This car situation is going to bother you a little bit more than it would on the norm because you have so much on your plate.
That is true. That is you
But you
you.
still come out here and you still are positive and you share, because you know what? People learn from it. So I
Yep.
salute you for that. I really do.
Thank you.
And set that high vibe and don't let anybody sway you, no matter what is going on around you. And you know that. And that's why you're getting through it. It's
That's
a
right.
little hard. Things are
Yeah.
difficult.
Yep.
But you're doing it.
Yep.
And you're more than just doing it. You're not only doing it, you are fueling change from it. It's acceptance, it's learning, it's evolving, and it's growing.
Yeah. Yep.
And you're still keeping a smile on your face while all that hard shit is happening.
Yep.
So that's what I see.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, but I thank you for that, Wendell. Come on. We all have rough times in our life. And you know what? I'm really honored that you can come out here and we can talk about stuff like that. Because you know what? Yeah. And I've talked to you about a lot of heavy stuff that's been going on with me.
You
Okay.
have.
So, yeah, you know what? Don't let anybody's opinion of you coming out here sharing stop that or give you any doubt because, yes, not everybody can be you because there's only one Wendell,
That's right. Very
right?
well said. Yep. Absolutely.
And I really respect you and I'm grateful for you. Seriously. And that's
Thank
why I say, you know what? Take some loving care today for you because it has been a rough week for you.
you. Yes, it has. It
And
has.
from what I'm hearing, all it does is it just keeps piling up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But what happens when we're under pressure without a release?
Right. That's
So
right.
today, you know what? I'm going to encourage you today, Wendell, to have that release. Do
Yep.
something that is going to fill your heart. I know you got a list of things to do a mile long, but you better put your self-care at the top of that fucking list. I'm sorry to put it that way, buddy, but yeah.
Fine. It's fine. And it's funny you're saying this because um, I haven't been to Banff in a long time, and I was thinking that that's what I'm probably gonna do today after I clear up this stuff. Just go to the mountains and just chill, and just kind of not
If
think about
that's what
anything.
your soul is telling you to do, you have to do it. You can't deny yourself of that. You're feeling that for a reason, Wendell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? When our signs, we don't listen to the callings within us, they get louder.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so you better listen to that stuff because your soul is telling you it needs a break
Yeah.
and you need a break.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you got to respect those things.
Yeah. And
And
it's funny.
that's why, sorry?
I was just gonna say, it's funny because yesterday, um, when my boss was coming to tell me because I was doing like that SCBA training, right? Like for the breathing apparatus stuff.
Okay.
And when they passed the test, I'm supposed to give them a ticket, right? So I had written all their names on the ticket prior, but I totally forgot about it because I was too
Okay.
busy into my thing, right? So my boss, who's a Moroccan guy, and he's anal about everything, right? And he's like, "So where are the tickets?" And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, what do you mean you don't know? And I'm like, no, I'm not saying I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out. He goes, okay, well, I'm confused now. What is it? I'm like, are you confused? Like, are you trying to figure out or you just don't know? And I'm like, Mo, stop right there. Because I know what he tries to do. He tries to he tries to word it in a way to make you believe that you said something that you didn't even say. Like, he's tricky like that, right? So I caught him right away. And then I started, like, getting a little bit, you know? And he's like, "Come, let's talk outside. Let's talk outside." I'm like, "Okay." So I go outside, and he's like, "So, I'm concerned." I said, "You're concerned about what?" He's like, "Well, I'm concerned that you forgot that you filled out these papers." I said, "No, no, no." I said, "There's nothing to be concerned." I said, "The only thing that you need to be concerned about is the way that you're coming at me. If you're coming at me and you're yelling at me for something that I know I did, but you're gonna convince me that I didn't, then yes, we're gonna have this issue all the time. So moving forward is that when I tell you I did something, just take it and say I did something. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell you I did something if I didn't do it. Like I'm not stupid. Only idiots do stuff like that. I'm not a freaking idiot, right? So and then he switches it. Then he tells me this joke. So now I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
because you served him what he needed.
exactly, exactly. So then he tells me, I'm just like, okay, now we're clear, right? So then, and then when we were leaving, he said, he's like, okay, so he goes, I don't know what's going on. He goes, tomorrow, he goes, don't come in unless I call you. And then if I call you, it's probably gonna be because we're gonna need you for something short. But for the most part, you're off tomorrow. So I said, okay. And sometimes he'll do, like right now it's 6:30, so he'll be like 7 o'clock. I have a feeling this is what's gonna happen. So 7 o'clock, he's gonna call me. He's gonna be like, "Where are you?" because he's like that, right? And if he does that, that'll be perfect because then I'll be like, okay, so you're talking to me yesterday about not remembering. You don't remember telling me last night not to come in today because you weren't sure or whatever, right? So I know how to deal with this guy. I know how to deal with this guy. But anyway,
This is
so
who? This is your trainer or what? This is somebody you train with? What? Who is
this
this
is
person?
this is the this is the he's the site administrator, so he's in charge of um that location, like everything that happens with that location. He's like the regional district manager or whatever, so he's in charge of everything that goes on there. And he needed me to come and do this, and then he said, "Oh, I'm gonna steal you from Dave because Dave is the guy who, you know." So now these two guys are fighting over me, and I'm just loving it because I'm just like, "Hey, I'm doing a good job." You know what I mean? Like, both of these guys are fighting over me, so I was like, "I'm doing a good job." So I mean, it's nice. It's nice.
Talk about rough out in the field, huh?
I
My goodness. Okay, so you see, this is what I'm talking about, Wendell. So it's not only the family,
Mhm.
it's not only the car, it's
It's
also
a lot.
work too.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay,
I've
it's
never been like this.
everything. But guess what? It's all trying to show you something.
Yeah,
Now, I don't know what it is because I'm not living it and I'm not in your body. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
you will figure it out. I know you will. But at this time, honestly, and I'm going to say it like I say it to everybody, don't react to any of it. None
exactly,
of it.
exactly. You know what?
None of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now because it's so funny that you said that because I was gonna say this earlier. My nat my old self, the natural reaction to this was to, oh shoot, Calgary is maybe not for me. I need to pick up my stuff and move right away. So reaction, you have that bang on because that's exactly what the old me would have done, and I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
But guess what? This stuff is coming up to test you to see if you are going to go forward or going to go back to your old ways. It's been happening to me, Wendell. Things have been happening to me to test me on every single angle, saying, Toby, are you really going forward? Because it's real easy to just come right back here where it's really comfortable.
Yep.
And everything. I'm talking living
Yeah.
quarters, relationship, finances, everything in my life is being flipped over on me to
Yeah.
test me.
Yeah.
And I can't react to it all. I can't react to any of it. And that's why I encourage you today, don't react to any of it and keep going on what you're going because it's shedding of that old shit.
You're right. You're right. You are so right on that one. I don't think you've ever
And
been
guess what?
more.
It's happening to me too. So that's evolution and growth. It's going to happen because things trigger things inside of us, not to make us feel fucked up, but for us to head on deal with it.
Yeah. But also, I find that especially with friends, like you have these friends that sometimes you just go through the same thing at the same time, and you kind of bounce off of each other, right? Like you reflect, like you tell your story, I tell my story, you tell your story, I tell my story, and then as you share stuff with each other, you actually learn stuff with each other. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna try her approach to that to this scenario, or I'm gonna try that approach to that scenario, and then you're like, oh wow, okay, so now it's like a divine purpose, right? Like you're meant
Yes.
to go through the same thing at the same time, so you can kind of share each other, or not really help each other because you're doing your thing, right? But you share with each other, and that sharing in itself actually turns out helping. So it's really, it's mind blowing. Like it is really mind blowing how paths cross like that, especially with friends. Sometimes even with total strangers, it's the same thing. And that's eventually how strangers become friends, is when you actually go through that same path crossing, where you can relate to each other, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I've been there. Really? You've been there? So you understand what, oh yeah, it's like, oh my God, yes you do, because that's exactly what I feel too, right? So, hey, let's exchange numbers. Let's hang out sometime. And the next thing you know, boom, you're friends. It's a funny thing. It's just
It
mind
is.
blowing. It's just
It
mind
is.
blowing. And a lot of people just, because they're so clothes, and because they're so not sheltered, but they've been screwed over by somebody. And I feel so bad for these type of people because all it just takes is that one person to screw you over in the most unimaginable way. Now you close your door to every possible good person that you need in your life, but you can't get them because your subconscious is telling you, oh, what if they do? What if they screw you over? What if they're not good? What if they have evil intentions, right?
You know why that happens to us? Because we blame ourselves for what other people inflict on us. And
Yeah.
that's how we believe that we have to protect ourselves, is just to isolate and close ourselves off. Oh, okay, well, Christ, I allowed that to happen to myself. Oh, well, oh, that makes you question everything else, right?
Mhm.
Happens to me sometimes. Sometimes, and then I got to correct it.
Yep. Yep, do the oil change. The mental oil
No, but
change.
seriously, though, right? And then we go, oh, okay, fuck, I let that happen. Oh, great. Oh, and then we start doubting ourselves, and then we start blaming ourselves, and then we start self-shaming and self-judging, and then okay, well, maybe and then it really messes with us because it just
Yeah.
yanks us down like an anchor.
To the darkest, darkest, darkest area of your freaking chakra, if you will. And then how do you get out of that?
You
Not
just
using
got
it.
to self-talk and tell yourself good things. Tell yourself all the good things that nobody else is telling you,
Yeah.
and that is serious.
Oh yeah,
When
it
I'm
is.
feeling like this, Wendell, all I got to do is seriously remind myself every day who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And remember, listen, I'm not in control of anything that's happening in anybody else's life or what they choose to throw my way, but I will be in control of my being and my experience. And if that's the only thing I can be in control of, that's okay.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
You
That's
know,
it.
I gotta be my own hero, and I gotta fight for Toby
That's what you
first.
gotta do.
First, and that's we're in the same boat right now because a lot of stuff is coming our way that we are not creating for ourselves,
Hmm.
but that's okay. We have to deal with it.
Right.
And that's why I'm so happy that you come out here and share. So your friend that says that, why do you share? Hey, this is for you. I don't know who you are, but Wendell can send you this message. Sharing, maybe you should come and listen to our lives because obviously you need them too. That's
Yeah.
all. And I wish you a wonderful day with love and light, whoever you are, because
Beautiful.
you need the most love. Honestly,
Beautiful.
though.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
And I do it with love. I don't do that with animosity or any kind of, I love humanity and I wish for everybody to get the
You
most
have.
out of their life experience. And I know what that's like to sit and blame myself and not like myself and shame myself and judge myself and you know what, compare myself to everybody else
Mm.
and listen to everybody else's standards except for my own until I got realigned and said, hey, what are my core values that I want to operate on? Doesn't matter where I came from, what life I've lived, what I've endured. Today is my day. Who am I going to be today? And it doesn't, all that stuff, leave that there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's crazy.
But it's an ongoing process, everyday thing I got to do. And I'm not ashamed to say it. That's why I come out here and first thing I tell everybody, I hope you woke up grateful. Hope you reminded yourself of all the things you got to be grateful for. Because honestly, even if life is a mess for somebody right now, they should be grateful for it because they're getting the chance to learn how to fix their shit.
That's right. That's right. We go through different stuff, right? That's it. Easy, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
you know? All right, so Wendell, so what are we going to do? We're going to sign off this morning?
Yeah, we can call it a day, so to speak.
Okay, so what? I'm going to give you the floor. So I want you to, I know you're not in a rush to leave, so you can have the floor for even if you want 10 minutes. Go for it. Say your piece. I want you to speak your heart and get everything out that you want to say.
Hmm. Okay. So yeah, so you know, in life we're always gonna come across people, right? And I noticed that a lot of people struggle with, you know, who to keep as a friend, who do you consider an enemy, or whatever the case may be. The bottom line is we don't need to be concerned about who's our enemy, because whoever our enemy is will always be your enemy, right? Now, the good people that you have on your side, you have to look deeply, as Toby said earlier, you have to look deeply into their intentions. If their intentions are good, and I don't mean intentions as, you're starving, they bring food over, or you have no clothes and they bring clothes over. It's a little bit more than that. It's got to go to the core where they have to understand what you're going through. If you're grieving a loss of somebody, they can come to your comfort and know how to tell you that things are going to be okay. It's a very complicated thing to do, to tell somebody that things are going to be okay and have that person actually believe it. So if you really want to be a good friend to that person that you have in your life that you don't want to lose over nothing, you have to make sure that you make it clear to them that you are there 100, down for them, no question, no doubt, no nothing.
Mm,
Because a lot of people don't really understand what true friendship is. You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm broke and you give me $5, that doesn't mean that you're my friend. That could simply mean that this person is trying to display or give the illusion that they're a caring person by just giving you $5, right? Or they're just trying to tell you that, well, my life is better than yours, so here's $5 as an insult. So everybody has different intentions on how they will perceive themselves. What's important is how you interpret what that is, right? So you need to take very close, or sorry, you need to pay very close attention to how people are coming at you, because some people will come at you in real time, real with real issues and real feelings, and then there's some people that are going to come to you in real time, but pure fake, like pure fake. You know, everybody has this um, thing about them that they have to look better or look good for other people, But if you're all about looking good for yourself, you're going to see how much further you'll go in life with that mentality as opposed to trying to look good for other people. Because you know what? You can look good for a thousand other people, but if you're not looking good for yourself, there's no point. There's no point because you're just living this fantasy. You're living a fake life, and everybody's gonna see it. Like people think like, oh, if I'm living a fake life, I can get away with it. Nope, people are gonna see it because one day it's gonna just take that one day that you mess up or you forget what role you're playing and you contradict yourself or you do something against your what you're trying to say out there. People are gonna take notice of that. When they take notice of that, that thing will spread like wildfire. And next thing you know, you think that you're one against the world. Now the world is going to be against you, and that's real talk right there. So, with that being said, stay true to yourself. You know, if you're gonna be if you're gonna be compassionate to one person, don't be just compassionate to one person. Be compassionate to every single person that not only surrounds that person, but just has that same kind of nature, that same kind of vibe, that same kind of what's the word I'm looking for? That same kind of spirit where you know that they're a good person and you know that they mean well and they're just having a hard time or they just need a little kick in the butt, whether it be a little motivational speaking here or a little boost of confidence here, or you know what, here, a little gift. Go get yourself a coffee. Go sit in a coffee Tim Hortons or whatever, and really think about what's going on, because I find that that's all you need, to figure out your way. And once you figured out your way and you're gone and you're soaring, don't forget to make a pit stop back to where you started, because gratitude is attitude, right? So you got to come back to that pit stop and say, "Hey, I remember you when I was down and you gave me $5 to get that coffee. Look at me now. Thank you so much." It's the same thing. you know, I be struggling with trying to talk live to people, and I needed to practice that so that I can do my training and explain this stuff to people confidently and not be always stuttering or losing my words and whatever the case may be. So for that, I'm grateful to Toby for bringing me onto this area now, or this media that I can actually share myself and I can talk comfortably and open up sometimes to myself. or not even to myself, but to Toby, because Toby has that personality where she could draw that kind of out to you, right? And she always means well, she's always speaking positive,
Yes.
she's never negative about anything. She might be uncertain about certain things,
Yes.
but unique, but that's just your display of your uncertainty until you get that clarity. Now you go back to your regular ways, which is what I've learned from talking to you every morning now for what, 2 months or 3 months now. I don't even know how long it's been anymore, but it's always been a pleasure. It's always been a joy, and it's always been, like I said, there's sometimes where, I don't think we stray off a topic, but there's sometimes where, we have little issues where, like you couldn't hear me, or like I'll try to say something, and you have this idea, so you want to attack the idea right away, so it just kind of gets a little, but at the end of the day it smooths out, right? So we do this every day, all day, every day, because like she said, we we are passionate about this. We want to help people. That's just our nature. We love people. We love being happy. We love being confident. We love being positive. Like, these are things that the world needs right now. Like, a lot of stuff that's going on, we have no control over what's going on. The only thing that we have control over is how we react to it. So this is the power in our connection here, because she's been talking about this for months, and I've been watching a lot of her older videos and stuff, and this has been going on and on and on and on. So I'm saying that just to say that we're consistent, right? So when someone is consistent about what they're talking about, you might want to pay a little bit more close attention to them, because there is a 99.9% chance that this person knows 100 what they're talking about. So that being said, I appreciate you. I appreciate, this opportunity. I appreciate what matters most, you matter the most, sorry. And, um, I really strongly believe that this is just the, you know, this is just the intro to what's gonna happen over there, right? So I'm ready for it, like I've been waiting for this for a while now, which is why I decided, what, maybe I should just take this life coaching thing, because now I know what my purpose is, right? Like, I've known for years, but I just wasn't sure. And I and I found it last year, and I was like, okay, now I know what my purpose is. So now I'm claiming it, or trying my best to claim it, actually. And I'm doing it positively, because I know at the end I am going to claim it. And that's it. Then that's all it is. Any little negative things, like, yes, you are right. These things that are happening in my life right now, yes, they are. It's more of a surprise than it is a stress, really, because I'm just like,
Hmm.
I'm not used to, it's been a while since I've had things come at me like this, right? But it doesn't change who I am, doesn't change how I'm thinking. I'm still doing what I got to do. I'm still keeping my drive, still keeping positive, and I'm still sharing with everybody, positive ways on how to overcome these things, because this is what life is going to become. Now, with all these changes that are going on in the world, this is what life is going to have to become. We're going to have to get up in the morning and convince ourselves that, hey, no matter what comes at me today, I'm ready. Bring it on. And you're gonna freaking get out there, and you're gonna be like, bullets come. You're gonna be poop, 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 poop,
Yeah.
poop, poop. Like freaking Wonder Woman with the bracelets. Remember the old school the first Wonder Woman with the bracelet.
Yeah.
So that's how we are gonna be, and we're gonna do what we have to do to get every single person that we can on that mental wavelength, because that is what power is. It's the control of what you decide, the control of what you choose to do with your life. And Toby says this a lot of times, and it's true. And it's like, we don't know what's out there for us tomorrow. We don't know when our time is coming. We see a lot of stuff in the world today. What's going on? Like, there's people that are passing like flies, and this is celebrities. These are people who have money. You know what I mean? These are people who have great, wonderful lives and exuberant lives. We're here at the bottom. Not to say that we're we're struggling or we're broke or anything, but I'm just saying we're like middle class people who are just trying to be happy in life and be comfortable and do good things. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no need for hate. There's no need for resentment. There's no need for jealousy. There's no need for envy. There's no need for anything. We are just two human beings that we connect on a certain level, that we create this powerful energy that we want to share with everybody. And that's all it is. We just want to share with you and make you look in the mirror and be, oh, okay, I never knew that about myself. I didn't know that I matter, right? That's what it's about. So we're gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep as long as Toby wants me in her corner, I will be in her corner to the
Oh,
end.
and I always definitely do, Wendell. Honestly, that's a given. Come on. I really appreciate your energy, and I don't want to interject or interrupt you yet. So let me just.
No, 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 that's fine. I'm getting to the end of it. But like, so I'm saying all that just to say, guys, like just stay focused, like as much as you have a plan, because we all have a plan, right? Every time we have a plan and then something comes into the plan, you think, oh, I need to change my plan. No, you don't need to change your plan. You just need to find out what that obstruction is and just get it out of the way. And if it keeps coming, then you're not handling it properly. It's that simple. You just need to figure out a better way of handling that blockage of that obstruction so that you can overcome that and then continue with your path. So stay positive, stay focused, and you matter the most all the time. That's it.
Wendell, I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate all that we do, honestly, because you know what? It helps all of us.
Oh yeah,
I really, you know what? I am grateful that you came out here to share, because you know something? I wouldn't want you to be walking around with that stuff in your head.
thank you.
And that's why I encourage everybody out there to talk,
It's
you
good
know?
therapy. Good therapy.
Of course it is, because it's when we can't talk about things, well, that's when it stays bottled in our being, and that's what makes us sick. And people
Right,
don't realize that.
right.
So, love and light, my brother.
Love and light,
And
my sister.
all kinds of love and energy to you. And I'm so proud of you that you're getting through all of this. You know what? Yes, it seems chaotic and bumpy, but from where I'm standing, you're getting through it smoothly.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay? And own that, because you know what? You do matter. And you know that. You
I
matter
know
the
that.
most in all of that stuff that's happening.
Absolutely.
Please don't react at all, because that's what it's itching for you to do. It's
Yep,
itching for you to react, so you'll go, fuck this, and walk. Don't do that to yourself, please, okay?
yep. You
You,
got my word.
you know, you're amazing. You really are. So just head on with everything and say, bring it on.
Right. Bring it on.
So, you know what? And I encourage everybody out there today, I'm going to address you all. Guys, don't compare yourself to anybody else. You can't. You're unique on the planet. There is not another person walking around in your skin or in your experience. Yeah, we all need each other, but there's nobody controlling your stuff other than you. Simple. What your fuel is for your vessel of this experience, unconditional, infinite love. Inside that, hey, the power of the all knowing. Stop looking for your answers and opinions from somebody outside of you. Seek those for yourself, because they are unique to you and what you are living. Simple. All that stuff is inside. Don't let anybody else fill your heads. Go to your own hearts, because that's where the answers truly are. All right? You know. Your soul knows. Your soul knows why you're having your experience. Your soul knows your mission and purpose on this planet. Your soul knows what you need to heal. Your soul knows what traumatizes you and makes you anxious or depressed or overwhelmed. Nothing is hidden from your soul. So let's get that right. Okay? Your soul is fueling you guys. Own that stuff. Own your greatness, your uniqueness, and your power. Simple. Don't react to anything. I want you guys to respond lovingly for yourself first, primarily. Everybody out there, please. Okay? Today, hey, you see a limit? Get creative. You see an obstacle? It's an opportunity. You see a setback? It is time for redirection. And I'll tell you all right now. I mentioned yesterday on the live that I had gone to see a property that I really wanted in Ontario. Well, it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. Why? Well, because the universe must have something else in the works for me. So, this is what I want you guys to see. This morning, I could be bawling my eyes out going, oh no, I wanted that place. That's what I needed. No, I'm saying to myself this morning, when I see a limit, I'm going to get creative. And when I see an obstacle, it's an opportunity for me. And every time I see a setback, I'm going to go, okay, so what else is in store then if this isn't working out for me? Okay. And maybe it's time for me to sit back and assess. All right, maybe there's other things playing out in the bigger picture that I'm unaware of. All right. But I'm not going to beat myself up for that. And I am going to go on. All right. Just like everybody does. We all create results. So hopefully you guys are going to put yourself first so you can create the right results for yourself, which floods into everything else that you say and do with every interaction and every linkage to anybody around you. Okay. I love you all. Get the most out of your day. You matter the most, right? Hey, come on. Get right with it and get it right today. What do I mean by that? Put yourself first. And if you don't know how to do that, well, you better start asking yourself, what are the things that are consuming you? Simple.
Yep.
All right. Wendell, you're awesome. And I love coming out here and starting my day with you. Well, I started my day a long time ago, but now that I'm coming off here, I can push forward. Like I got lots of stuff to do today. But seriously, put self-care first, please, Wendell, today, because
Yes.
you have. And I'm not going to belittle this because people think, oh, no, that is a lot to handle in 3 days. That hasn't even been a week.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay. So even though you're breezing through it, remember that it is still wear and tear and it affects the body.
Absolutely.
So please put yourself first because yes, you matter. And the last thing that I want to see is it start raining problems.
Yeah. That's the last thing I want to see too, trust me.
Because I'm telling you now, if you react to anything in a bad way, that's when it's going to start to rain because then you've gone back to that old pattern. So everything in that old pattern is going to come back. But you got this. You know who you are better than I do. Simple shit. No, really. That's why today, hey, love and light, my brother, and I send you all kinds of love and comfort and energy your way. But self-care.
No, life and
Be
light to
your
you.
own best friend today, Wendell.
Well, trust me.
Okay? All right. Love and light, everybody. I love you all. Have a great day. Get the most out of it. Wendell, love and light, my brother. Peace out. Have a great day. Peace.